challenge, you're still here with us. God bless.
Yes, welcome to Rebel Radio. Today is Tuesday, Wednesday. Why am I turning back the week? Yes, and yesterday was an eventful day. The leader of opposition made his budget contribution, but it ended abruptly, because the government side walked out and there was no quorum, because they have 49 seats and the opposition have 14. And when they left, the situation, there was no quorum. The opposition leader went outside on Duke Street and completed his presentation. The government was upset because the opposition leader raised the point about the fact that the Prime Minister's wife is in charge of one arm of the government and he is in charge of one arm. Listeners and viewers are under the system of government that we operate. You have three arms of government: the judiciary, parliament, and the executive. The Prime Minister, whoever that person is in charge of the executive. The Speaker of the House is in charge of the Parliament, right? And in this case, you have an unholy situation. There is no state in the Commonwealth. And I want somebody to point me to a country in the world where this situation exists, where the Prime Minister is in charge of the executive and his wife in charge of the Parliament. Totally unacceptable. And I don't care if the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition, or the PNP agreed with it. I am saying that this situation is totally unacceptable. So we are going to be talking about that, but let us listen to the opposition leader. This apparently was taken at his office. Let us listen to what he had to say after his speech was ended abruptly in the Parliament. Let us hear what he had to say.
Are we ready?
Yeah. Born ready.
All right. Tell me when we can start. Go.
Come on.
Today was a sad day for our democracy, in the sense that for the first time, the government in Parliament walked out during a budget debate and prevented the leader of the opposition from completing his presentation, denying the Parliament of a quorum, so the Speaker had no choice but to end the proceedings. And I, as leader of the opposition, was unable to finish my presentation. I didn't say anything offensive about anybody. I made a point of principle, which is that it doesn't sit well with the tradition in our parliamentary system, which requires the Speaker of the House to be independent of the government, for the wife of the Prime Minister, who's the head of government, to be the Speaker, which is effectively the head of Parliament. And these concerns are not just my concerns. Many Jamaicans feel that way. And in fact, the international community also has concerns about it, because it's really a very unusual situation. And indeed, the Prime Minister, who in an emotional fit stood up and walked out and precipitated the situation which brought the proceedings to an end, really himself reinforced the validity of the point I was making, that there needs to be proper independence between the Speaker and the government, and by virtue of them being spouses, there is none. That was the point I was making. And her conduct, Mrs. Holness's conduct, has given rise to concerns by not tabling the reports of the Auditor General on a timely basis as they arrive. There are reports which have been, I'm told, reached Parliament from January, which have 2 Auditor General performance audit reports that have not been tabled. By determining that certain reports of the Integrity Commission must be sent to an oversight committee within Parliament, which is dominated by the government side, and chaired by the government side before those reports are tabled and made public. These are issues of grave concern to me, as somebody who believes in the parliamentary system and in democracy, and indeed for many Jamaicans. So this is why I thought it was essential to make this point in my presentation. And the reaction of the Prime Minister to it reinforced my concerns. Furthermore, Mrs. Holness has refused to make public or even share with us as members of Parliament and senators the legal opinion which she claims justifies the position she's taken. If that is the case, then why isn't she sharing it with us? It wasn't given to her in her personal capacity. It was sent because it concerns matters affecting Parliament in a very fundamental way. To deprive the Parliament of the benefit of that legal opinion is itself an egregious act, inconsistent with transparency in the way we conduct our parliamentary affairs. What I believe happened was that when the speech was shared in Parliament and the Prime Minister saw the points that were coming after the point I was making, he decided to take this action because he didn't want me to have the opportunity of making those points in Parliament in front of him. And what are those points that I'm referring to? The next point I was going to make was that the illicit six, which is a matter of grave concern in the country, is another instance where governance in Jamaica is being brought to a low ebb, where 6 MPs are under investigation for illicit enrichment. And the Prime Minister not only has declined to make public who they are, but has put a gag order on his cabinet forbidding them from talking to the media on any issues relating to the Integrity Commission. And the point I was going to make after that was that the Prime Minister, as head of government, cannot be in a situation where he is not in good standing with the Integrity Commission of the country. He has failed to have his statutory declaration certified. And that statutory declaration lists his assets, his liabilities, and his income. And for successive years, the Integrity Commission has not certified and published a summary of his declaration. That is an untenable situation for Jamaica. And I was in my speech, the next point I was going to make was to say, if I were in his position, I would take away myself and replace myself with somebody else who is not compromised. The Prime Minister knew that was what was coming next. He couldn't face the heat, so he decided to walk out. First time ever in the history of Jamaica, the government ends the budget presentation of the leader of the opposition by pulling out their members and denying the Parliament a quorum so the proceedings couldn't be completed. Yeah. I'm glad I was able to, on Duke Street, standing on a wall, addressing those who were there, finish my speech right then and then. But it's a shame that I was unable to do so in the Parliament of the land.
The opposition seconded Mrs. Holness's ascension to the Speaker chair. Why raise that issue now, as opposed to when she assumed the chair in September last year?
2 things I would say about that. First of all, when that arose, we were not briefed in advance. We weren't consulted with. I was not in Parliament that day. And the clerk of the House presented the leader of opposition business with the script and said, this is a tradition that the opposition seconds the motion. And he had no opportunity to consult with any of our members, and he decided to follow the tradition that he was told existed. But furthermore, her conduct subsequent to that appointment has reinforced the issue of principle, which gave rise to my concern. Because as I've said, she has adopted a course of action where reports are not being presented and tabled on a timely basis. And a timely basis in this context means as soon as they arrive, they are to be tabled and made public. And she is not doing that. And she has not released the opinion of the Attorney General, which was given to Parliament for the benefit of Parliament, to advise Parliament. She has not released it. And she says justifies her actions, but we don't know because we haven't had an opportunity to see it. And Integrity Commission reports, some of them, she has said, are to be sent to an oversight committee, which the government dominates in terms of numbers. They have the vast majority on that oversight committee. They chair that oversight committee. So they can declined to.
Well, there you have it. Yes, you heard what the leader of the opposition said. Yes, this is totally unacceptable, totally. And I know that a number of people in Jamaica are not in support of this. Not at all. We have with us public commentator Lucius Watson, Lucius White. Brother Lucius, are you there? It look like he, as if he left us. Mr. White, I'm not hearing him at all. But what I'm saying is that this situation is one that is totally unacceptable. And it's something that the leader of the opposition, you know, spoke about it. But whether I am saying that even if the party did not, hello Lucius.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was hearing you, but apparently you weren't hearing me.
Yes, as I indicated to you that I played a video of the opposition talking after his speech was ended abruptly in the House. Yes, but what do you think of the points raised by the opposition leader?
He was right on the ball throughout.
Yes.
And what has been exposed is that the PM and company, the heat in the kitchen, the flee, and in moving, especially with the bus seats being what they are, they ensure that quorum left behind, and that being the case, they have interrupted the presentation of the opposition. That was much too much for their discomfort. If you look at it, it's much because if we assume that the Prime Minister person was hurt, but the statement was now pointing to the non of his wife. If he chose to walk out, see how that would give justification for the whole party to follow him, unless it was a planned situation where at the point of discomfort he would follow. And what this is telling the people of Jamaica is that we are not in very good hands, because the principle of democracy, which among other things requires that the voice of the people, including the, must be heard, and where Parliament is the forum from which the opposition, the people who do not support the government, have a platform to record their opinion, intention. This is being abused out of denying of thereby an official end to what the opposition had to say. What I truly appreciate is what Golden did, what he ought to have done in the circumstance, which is to there and to the people. And I sincerely hope that carrying it to the people was just the first step Speaker in these throughout Jamaica, because the people needs to know who is in their welfare and who is giving them the some 5 card trick of telling you one thing which is not backed by the facts.
Yes. Yes, but Luce, one of the things that I can't understand is that, there is no other country in the Commonwealth with this situation where wife and husband are in charge of 2 central arms of government, right? And one of the things that I know, I am willing to bet my last dollar, those reports which the Speaker of the House has not tabled, her husband knows what are in those reports. This is a wife and husband affair, and therefore nobody can convince me that the Prime Minister's wife, Mrs. Holness, is going to hide any of those reports from him. No, she is doing whatever she can to protect her party and the Prime Minister. That is what she's there doing. And she should resign.
This is the fundamental ground of the objection. It is that whether they are married, have a member of the same party. That is not the fundamental point. The fundamental point is that she is not carrying her function with the impartiality which is required of a speaker. The fact that she has
repeat what you said. You went out a while ago. I don't know why.
I don't know why either, but
Yeah.
Are you hearing me any better?
Yes, I'm hearing you better now.
Yes. I'm saying the fundamental point is not even whether she was married to the Prime Minister or their relationship. The fundamental point is that having been elected or selected as a speaker, she has an obligation to carry out those functions with the impartiality which allows Parliament not to be affected by whatever our personal relationship is. And what has happened is that having been elected or selected, she has now been refusing to carry out her duties with the impartiality that is required of our office.
Yes.
Because by not presenting these reports to the Parliament, she is not doing her duty, and as such, she is to be removed. Whether you want to call it resign, retire, what happened, but she needs to be replaced by someone who has the decency to recognize that the office requires impartiality in behavior to ensure that the duties of the Parliament are not affected by the fact that you are a member of a particular political party, or husband of a particular man, or wife to a particular woman. Your duty is to carry out the functions of Parliament, and reports, especially important reports from the Auditor General and the Integrity Commission, are not being presented to the Parliament. Whosoever is responsible, and in this case, the Speaker is the person responsible, must vacate the office to ensure that the duties of Parliament continue as it should.
I want to hold your thought there. Let us go for a break. This is Rebel Radio. Let's go for a break.
Everybody's sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, insets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
JPS said you fi stay current. That's right. Update your cell phone number and email address with JPS and stay in the know on important details like account and system upgrades, emergency and maintenance notifications, usage and promotional info, and so much more. Use the My JPS mobile app, PM them online, or call to update your info today. And whatever you do, stay current. JPS takes the security of your data very seriously. Visit the JPS website at www.jpsco.com for more information. JPS, powering what matters.
Savings, savings, savings! It's a carnival of savings at home and things! Massive savings on new arrivals of Spanish and Brazilian tiles, mosaics, bathroom fixtures and faucets, windows, doors, and home decor that will make you say, oh gosh! The home and things carnival of savings deals to what? Home and things prefer customers who know savings turn up loud. March down to Old Hope Road and Constant Spring Road. It's the home and things carnival of savings!
Come join us for Caymanas Community Recycling Day. Caymanas Park, in association with the Recycling Partners of Jamaica, will host a plastic collection drive on March 17 from 1 to 5 p.m. at Caymanas Park. Come out and drop off your PET and HDPE plastics for recycling and earn rewards. Let's respect our environment and keep it clean. Visit at Caymanas Racing on Instagram or caymanasracing.com for details on how to participate. Are you ready? Your chance at winning millions this March just got better. On March 9, the Catch 9 will have a mandatory payout with an estimated payout of over $5 million. On March 16 and 23 only, the minimum guaranteed payouts of the following wagers will be increased: Twilight 6, $3 million. Strike 4, $750,000. Be a March millionaire. Wager, watch and win on MBet at Caymanas Park and off-track betting locations island-wide.
It's Tools Hardware and Supplies New Year New Finishes Sale. Unbelievable low prices all month long. Shop for your new finishes for your bathroom, kitchen, living room,
porcelain and ceramic tiles, windows, doors, paints, and more.
And remember, when you think tiles, think tools. For the finest quality at the lowest prices. Shop now.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
Yes, welcome back to Rebel Radio. Yes, and we are talking to public commentator Lucius White about the budget presentation. Yes, Mr. White, and you know, the situation is clear that you know what, one of the things that I don't subscribe to. Now, when you look at corrupt activities, and you have some people who would say, okay, well, but the PNP was corrupt also. But one of the things that I don't argue join that line of argument, because that is one of the reasons why the people voted out the PNP, because they were dissatisfied with what they were doing.
If you are not satisfied with a governor, you replace them.
Yes.
Now the person succeeding cannot justify misbehavior by saying the person before them used to do that.
No! Because the reason why they were removed is because the people said no.
The people are dissatisfied.
Yes. And
consequently, if they choose to behave similarly or worse, they must be prepared to be evacuated.
Absolutely, sir.
We cannot tolerate the level, I wouldn't even say the perception of dishonesty, the level of dishonesty that prevails in the administration.
Yes.
And people must recognize that the quality service you are getting is a direct result. The poor quality service you are getting in health and education and everywhere and in production is as a result of the heavy leakage of public expenditure. In other words, money allocated do not do what they are supposed to do because far too much of it goes in the hands of cronies and citizens operators.
Yes.
And the people, we must show our objection to that by replacing the current administration.
Yes. Yes. Totally.
I was rather heartened by the time the opposition spent in pointing out the importance of the good governance and that you can't get good governance with corrupt operations and the effect of that kind of corruption. These are the things that lead to you going to hospital and can't get no bed. And you're not having school for your children. And you don't have staff to do the work whether in the schools or in the hospital. And I'm saying, I expect that when the election comes and the people have spoken, they would resoundingly reject the corrupt operation that prevails and that their successors recognize the responsibility to the people to give transparent and competent and honest governance.
Yes.
This is sadly lacking.
Yes, that is the situation, Luce. Right now, the situation is, as we say, totally unacceptable. It's totally unacceptable. And
what are the distressing?
Yes. Luce, hold it there for him. Hello. Hello, Mr. Smith.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Hold it there for me. Yes. Yes. Luch? Yes. Hold it there for me. We also have online Mr. Derek Smith. Listeners and viewers, Mr. Derek Smith is former Member of Parliament, long-standing Member of Parliament, former Security Minister, and one who has given over 40 years of his service to Jamaica. Good evening, Mr. Smith.
Well, yes, where do you have online, Desmond?
I have with me public commentator Lucius White.
The long time Lucius racing?
The same one.
Same Lucius.
Oh, Lord, Lucius is a long time, man. Where have you been?
I've always been here,
I guess, yes. Nice to link up with you again,
Yeah, my pleasure, man.
But how Desmond is positioning us is obvious that we probably look like we're going to be on two different sides.
Well, if that is the case, that is the case. I will state my side, and you can state your side, and the public ultimately will decide.
I don't know.
No problem.
I don't know both of you to be on either side. I know both of you as two racers, terrifieds. So
Desmond, what you claim you don't know, I know. Don't worry. All right?
Yes. But we're talking about the political situation, and Mr. Smith, when I invited you, I wanted you to give me a post-mortem on the 26th. And we are talking about the local government elections.
Right.
Yes. So based on the results, as you saw them now, I clear you